So this is Totally Detailed, and we have another podcast here with a gentleman from Manchester. And we have Adam, my co-host. Say hello, Adam.
Good evening.
And please introduce yourself, our special guest.
Hello, everyone. My name's Nathan Baines, and I'm the owner-operator of Function and Form Car Care in Manchester.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Good.
Appreciate you giving up some time and coming on.
Definitely.
Not a problem. Privileged to be on. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. We've got to ask, I'm skipping the opening question, we're going to come back to it. Just because you mentioned the name, where does that name come from? Because it is a bit different to the normal.
Well, exactly. I wanted something different. This is my second personal company name. So I did have another company beforehand. And then when I kind of took this fresh start, this new brand idea, I wanted something really different. And I wanted to kind of strip back everything that I do. And I thought, well, really, there's kind of two sides realistically to what I do. People want the cars sort of functionally clean. There's certain people that just want it functionally clean, where it's, it's pristine and it's nice and tidy, it's valeted, and it's ready to function. And then on the other hand, there's the kind of the form and finesse side, where you go into the nth degree, whether it be machine polishing or vinyl application, making something different, customizing. So I kind of, to strip it back and kind of apply both sides of the business and have something that's a little bit fresh and out the box, I thought, well, function and form, it's functional and it has form. And I know that it's quite a long name, and I realized sort of a couple of months in after having it, when you're having to repeat the business name to people when you're speaking to them, well, how do you spell that? Is it all one word? And they probably could have done it a little bit differently, but there's no regrets with it, really. I'm really happy with it, and I think it stands out.
So you said no regrets, but if you could go back in time, would you have called it something else?
Potentially, yeah. But we've gone with it now. It's good.
Well, that's it. It's hard to rebrand as well, though, isn't it? To change it now, it's hard.
It is, and there's no real problem with it. It's only at that point of contact when you're with people, and they're jotting it down or they're looking for you on socials. It is a little bit long, and the same for like a website. It's quite a long domain name, and it's not got the right sort of ring to it. But I'm not upset with it in any way. I think it still means a lot to me, and people can still find it. They don't get it confused with anything else. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's more the logo that you want to sort of try to get that logo out there to get recognized, isn't it, at the end of the day? And if they can recognize it, I know you got the Hex sort of logo in two areas. So, I mean, it's getting that recognition out there for the logo. The name is just easy to remember then, because they'll recognize that logo as your brand, and that's the way to start it more than anything.
Yeah. So it's all an image, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's the same with us, like Leather Repair Company. As you say, it's quite a long domain. And it's one of my regrets. If I could go back in time, yes, we'd change the name. Would have maybe chose a different name, because everybody, probably you've got is with, even though it's a fantastic name, because it does exactly what it says on the tin, you repair leather, and you're a repair company. Everybody uses that term to coin that term, because they know they can use it and get away with it legally without stepping on people's toes for like copyright infringement. And that begins to bug you. But after a few years, you learn to live with it, and you got to put up with it. But it's like with yours, it's very, very unique though. And if somebody does start to use it, you can literally come down on them like a ton of bricks.
Yeah,
but
sure.
With us, it's a very generic name. So of course people like to coin it because they know that we're good at what we do and successful with what we do. So others try to coin it, which it's annoying, but you just got to learn to live with it. Like you say, it's made you better, and we go with it. It's simple.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, take that as a compliment as well, that people want to try and coin it off you, because obviously you've built something that is reputable and that people aspire to. So
at first it got to us, in the first sort of few years, but after a while you sort of sit back and you think, yeah, we must be doing something right here for them to want to use our name, or to at least use that term. So, and again with yours, it's so unique. It's nobody is going to want to copy. It's unique, and like I say, getting that logo right with it is what people will recognize as that logo, and that's what we're doing at the moment, is getting a new, modern, fresh image with a standalone logo that doesn't have to have the name with it, which is what people are starting to recognize. So, and it works. So it'll work. It'll fall into place and it'll really gel for you. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like you say with the logo, that's sort of, it's just that image that people that see, and then they just
absolutely
sort of correspond you with that image straight away.
Exactly. And that's what I'll do.
That's the most important bit of it.
It's like any super brand, though, isn't it? You don't have to see the name. You just see the logo, and you automatically know. You know, you see Apple, you know it's an Apple PC sort of thing, and so on. But yeah, logos make a massive impact.
Yeah, they do. Massive.
Yeah, sure.
Get the logo right. It's more of an impact than the name itself. So I mean, it's just getting the logo right. It's like Apple, as you say. It's just so recognizable, you know, and everybody knows it's Apple because it is an Apple. Do you know what I mean? So it's just so and it's getting your logo right. You know, is the thing that people will recognize you for, rather than your name. You know, they'll remember your name because they know your logo, and that's what's key to it. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because part of me kind of wishes that I'd kept my previous business name.
Yep.
But with this, I was really looking for a fresh start, so like a regeneration. And my original business was called Astonishing Polishing.
Yep.
And I thought that was kind of like really quirky, and it abbreviated well to AP. And you know, a part of me wishes that I would have stuck with that, but I kind of wanted to leave that part behind me and focus on fresh pastures, and I had a different vision for what I was doing. And yeah, so it was a bit of a toss up, really. Yeah. But like I say, no regrets. I'm standing my ground. Exactly. No regrets.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's F&F, isn't it? At the end of the day, sort of thing. So you know, it's A and P. You know, it's similar sort of thing. F&F, you know, maybe sounds a little bit better than A and P. So it's
yeah. So, better ring to it with the alliteration, I suppose.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yes. Cool. So going all the way back to our opening question, because we kind of skipped there a little bit. What got you into the detailing industry?
I think like anybody really, it was getting the first car. My love for cars started way much before that, when I was about 10, 11 years old. We had the family company, which was a milk delivery business, and my dad and my granddad had 15 vans that were all hand painted, all hand sign written, and they kept them pristine at all times. And I kind of learned from a young age that having image of a good vehicle for a company vehicle was very important in the upkeep. And I was involved with that as a part-time job, and involved in the family business from a young age. And my dad and granddad were very fanatical about the cars as well. My dad always had a nice car on the drive, and any spare time, so he'd finish work at about 12, 2 o'clock sometimes at the latest, and he had a bit of a sideline where he was a driveway trader. So having his network of people around the Manchester area he was delivering milk to, he'd spot like tired looking cars that come up for sale, and shopkeepers' vans and things like that. And then he'd take them, and usually it was just a thorough clean up, fresh set of tires. You know, he'd have a bit of bodywork done, and then he'd flip it over and sell it. And I remember I'd help him out, and it was all like turtle wax, chamois and myrrh polish, and we'd correcting not correcting, but polishing oxidized paint, and getting rid of oxidized paint by hand with myrrh. And like it was like a proper workout. And that was kind of what introduced me to it. But yeah, the main thing that started detailing for me was my first car, which was a Ford Fiesta Z-Tech S, a Mark V, and it was in Panther Black. So you get out in the sun, and it was about 7 years old at the time when I got it. And you get out in the sun, and it was just like hologram and swirl heaven. And like Auto Glim SRP soon became my best friend, and I'd be layering that up every weekend. And I was thinking, there must be something more I can do with this. And it just kind of started from there, really, and started reading into it more and more. And that was back in 2007. And I kind of realized at this point, I was done an apprenticeship in engineering. I always wanted to work with cars, but my careers advisor said, go down the engineering route. Don't be a car mechanic. Don't work with cars, because you can always keep that as your hobby and your passion. And you can switch then. And when you cut off from work, you can go and do your hobby. And I was thought, you know what, there's some merit in that. Yeah, fair enough. I'll go and do this engineering. And then if I do want a career change at some point, I've got something to fall back on. But kind of always knew that I was going to do it anyway. I just went and got the qualifications and got a really good job. And I guess one thing led to another after my apprenticeship, and moved through the ranks, so to speak, and ended up in middle management at 22. and it was a very, very stressful, demanding job. I've got 25 staff and £3 million worth of production plant machinery to keep on top of on continental shifts. And I thought, well, I'm done with this. I don't enjoy the job anymore. I'm done with this. But I thought it was the company and the job that was the issue. So I changed companies and went working back on the tools on machines. And I was, at this point, I was working with headphones on, solitary, just me and the machine. And I actually had time to think. And I did that job for 3 months, and it was a cracking job, paid really well, and I actually did enjoy it. But during that 3 months, all I could think of was going cleaning cars, because, you know, a few years had passed from me having my Z-Tech S at this point, and, you know, maybe 5.5, 6 years had passed, and I'd grown to enjoy the car cleaning more and more. And it was my way of sort of switching off from work and life and going and enjoying myself and doing something for me. And you stand back and look at it and think, wow, you know, I've done that, and got the real sense of satisfaction and instant satisfaction as well, which is great. So when I'd finished, I was coming up for thinking, right, I'm going to wrap this up now. So I spoke to some of my friends and my family. A few people said I was crazy, but I said I'm going to set up a valeting company. I want to go car valeting and detailing. And I want to make something out of this. I don't just want to do it. I want to go and do it properly. So my mum and dad were actually very supportive. And I spoke to my dad about it, and he said, right, well, you know, I got my mortgage on my house, and I had my fiance at the time to help out with, and you know, I had bills to pay and stuff. I couldn't just be chopping in a good paying job and not having any income to start off with. So I spoke to my dad, and he sold the family business in 2007 and gone working for a larger dairy firm as a manager. And he said, there's a cracking milk round come up where you can be finished for 9 o'clock every day, and you'll still be able to earn some money. You have to work hard, obviously. I was like, well, I'm game for that. So I'd start at 4:30, finish at 9, and then go valeting till dark. And I did that for 12 months and made it work. And I got to a good point then where I had enough business built up that I could go full time. And realistically, I've not looked back since. And that was 2014. So yeah, that's kind of the way that I got into it, really.
That's some dedication, is that, though?
Oh yeah,
to be up at 4 every day. And...
Yeah, I'm sure it's not done me any favors for, you know, when they say you've had hard paper round. I think mine was in Beirut.
You don't look too bad for 18.
So flattering.
Do you know when you was like telling friends and family you was going to start this business?
Yeah.
Did they kind of look down on the valeting as an industry sort of thing, not understanding the value that's within it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I had that kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Even to the point of where I'd have like my milk round, and then I'd have my valeting on the other side. And there was a comment that was made by a family member, and it was to another person in the family. Didn't realise I was in earshot, and said, "Oh, is Nathan working tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh yeah. Oh, is it his proper job, or is it the car valeting?" Right. So they were playing one job off as the proper job, and one job as you know, as not a proper job, so to speak, when realistically I was actually earning more money on the valeting. It just wasn't as regular and steady as the weekly paid work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just people's perception of it is very different. And I think working in the industry, and well, I think if you're passionate about anything, you have a different feeling about it. But working in the industry, you really can see the merit in it. And, you know, and it's not just a job. That's the thing for me. I really do thoroughly enjoy it. It's about, you know, they say you enjoy the job that you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life, so to speak. I mean, whilst it's physically tiring, and it can be mentally tiring at times as well, and you're constantly in your phone and social media and trying to organise your diary and everything else that goes with it. Yeah, it can be quite mentally tiring as well. But other than that, it doesn't feel like work to me, which is, you get up in the morning and feel great about getting started with the day. To me, that's everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly that's how you want it to be, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's like really with the valeting and sort of detailing. So when, especially in the detailing side of it, I always sort of class it as I'm not detailing. I'm almost sort of mini restoring a car every time.
Yeah.
Which is a very skilled thing. And it's the way I sort of view it myself. It's like I'm almost restoring that vehicle's paintwork every single time rather than valeting it or cleaning it.
For
how I
sure.
perceive to see it, because that's exactly what you're doing at the end of the day. You are becoming an extremely skilled restorer of that paintwork and that interior. That's exactly what you're doing.
It is specialized.
Definitely.
I like to consider it as anyway.
It is. It's very specialized. People don't realize the value of the industry and what can be earned from it. To be fair, I know it's hand car washing, but I mean, it's even still, you can earn plenty of money from that if you get it right and you do a good job. I mean, I've got friends that I know that have started from nothing, that were on the dole, got a government grant, and they're now millionaires from it, just from washing cars. You know, so if that's a bad job to be in, to become a millionaire, then bloody hell, what hope do people have that have got a good job? You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah.
Do you specialize in anything, or is you do everything sort of thing?
I'd say my specialism is in most time spent with experience wise is polishing and coatings. I did a lot of that over a 2-year period where it was just every day, just machine correction and coatings. Where I worked for a company after I'd set up my first business and done a couple of years. I had an opportunity to go and work for an employer in Hyde, which is just a local town to us. And it was a new startup, and that was all that they wanted, was correction and coatings. And he was working on some fantastic cars, so I went for it. So most of my time there, my main responsibilities, even though I ended up doing a hell of a lot of other things, my main responsibilities were correction and coating. So if to pick out a specialism out of the services that I do, I would say that's probably what I'm most specialised at, if you would. But with the PPF and the vinyl wrap being close second to that. But I think the thing that I'd like to say to a customer if they ask me what my specialism was is just providing a personal service. So if I don't like to treat a customer as a single customer. I like to sort of give them a very personalised service and gain trust with them more than anything. And I don't mean that in an underhanded way or anything. Like, a lot of my customers have become friends, and that's the reason why they come back to me, is because the service is customised to them for what they need. And if I can't sort something out, then I'll find someone, or I'll know someone who can. And I'm always happy to pass work on to someone if I don't feel that I can do it properly, or I can provide the absolute best result that the customer's looking for. So providing a personal service is really important to me as a specialism, so to speak.
I think that's when you do become the specialist, though, because no matter what, they'll phone you to find out if you can't do it, who's going to do it. You become their specialist, and
they put their trust in you as an individual to help find something that can achieve the results that they want, whether it be like wheel refurbishment, or someone to fit air suspension, or people to fit dash cams, like solid fit dash cams where they're hardwired in, and window tinting. There's loads of things, and customers ring me, even car sales, and it's I enjoy it. I like it. I like helping people out with it, and they'll actively speak about me as an individual to somebody else then, because it's like, oh, I know a guy, let me give him a ring. And it might only be me just sending a message back with a contact card for somebody else. I don't make any money off it, but it helps spread my name and helps other people contact me. Oh, I've had your number off such and such body. And it's like, oh, flipping heck, I never would have thought that would come back round. All I did was send him a contact card, and then you've got a 500 quid dough out of it, or whatever it may be. So that's kind of what I like to try and think of as my specialism, is a personal service and giving that personal touch.
That's exactly when we did the mobile side of it as well. And we had it to the degree where we had customers asking us if we knew of great wedding venues, even though it was nothing that we were involved with.
Oh, really?
It was only because I was from down south originally years ago. And they were like, do you know anywhere there's great wedding venues down south? As it happened, we said yes. Told them a venue that we knew, which is where we sort of met. We were going through, and I met Princess Diana and stuff like that there. It was on a private estate. And I said about it, and they booked the venue. and
Wow.
it's the best thing they've ever done.
Wow,
And
amazing.
it was only because I knew it. It was only an off chance because we got friendly, and as you say, they became very good friends, and it is offering that personal service is a good thing, and that then served as a benefit to me later on in life after leaving doing the mobile detailing work, and we went obviously full time with the leather. They came back to me for something sort of like 7 or 8 years after, and I got more work from them for something else. So I mean, it was quite good because they remembered even after all those years later. So
Crazy.
you do become like a personal friend with them, when you get that customer service right. Definitely.
Yeah, just having that positive image in people's mind, it stays.
Yeah, definitely.
It stays, and they'll remember you and come back.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned PPF. When did you start doing PPF?
I started while I was at Halo in about 2016. So there was another guy that worked alongside me who looked after vinyl and PPF, and quite a lot of the things were a two-man job. So lifting the panels over to the car, prepping the panels, the panels of PPF to fit. So he was in there doing that, and I'm like, well, how did you do that? And, well, couldn't we show me this? And I just shadowed him as much as I could, because quite a lot of the time we'd have a car in and we'd have it in for 4 or 5 days. And as long as there wasn't, we had 2 booths that ran side by side. So if there wasn't another car that coming for correction, I'm in his booth and I'm like, I want to know what you're doing. Let me see, show me this. Well, can I ever go? Can I try this? Can you show me that? Anytime I had to practice, I wanted to be hands-on with it. And I started picking it up there. And then once I'd left Halo in 2018 and started back on my own again, I was like, right, well, I want to pick this up again. So I carried on practicing in my own time. And then when was it? Last year, I started going for more training courses in it with Body Fence at Hexis. Some great guys down there in Lichfield. And the technology had changed as well massively. They released a new product, which is Body Fence X last year. And it's just a little bit of a game changer for the film technology. So I started getting my eye back in with it again, did a few cars, and then thought, right, I can start offering this to clients now. Like, I'm happy that my skills have got to a certain level now where I can probably offer it with my own, through my own company. And I only started actively sort of looking at advertising that and getting the word out this year. Problem being that I've had being mobile is having somewhere regular to be able to fit it and apply it, because it needs to be almost clean room. Sure, not to insult your intelligence, but you can't do it with any dust in the room. You've got to be very, very clean. Although I did PPF the front end of my van a couple of weeks ago in a dusty warehouse, and it seems okay. Just controlled the environment as much as I could, and there's no inclusions under it. So done all right there. But that's been the only hold up this year, is to get in the location. But with a little bit of collaboration with another detailers over in Leigh, at MF Detailing, Martin Foster over there, he's allowing me to use his handover booth. So he's got a lovely clean room there, which is just freshly kitted out, painted floor, low dust levels. So now I can work out of there for any time that I want. Brilliant. And just sublet it from him. So going forward, it's looking quite rosy, because I've got a contract in the bag with Porsche Stockport, hopefully, as long as I've got somewhere to do this. I've been and done a trial for them, and they were happy. The only stumbling block we had to overcome was location.
Very
Brilliant.
good.
So this detailing company you're renting from,
yeah,
I'm guessing they don't offer PPF.
No, they don't. So I went over there to do some vinyl work. I originally met them while I was at Halo. We used to do foundation training courses for people wanting to get into detailing, so teaching people everything up to clay bar, and it was marketed through Easy Car Care.
Okay, yeah.
And they'd get people in, and we'd do the training courses. And Martin, or aka Foz as he is, and Ben came over, and they were just starting up, 2017, I think. And I met them, and they said about this unit that they get in and everything, and I, wish them best of luck, and we kept in touch anyway. And a few years down the line, they gave me a shout and said, will you come do some vinyl wrap work for us on our personal cars? We've had a rapper, but he's let us down. So I was like, yeah, of course I will. Yeah, no problem. So we booked a date, went down there, and catching up just like old mates. It was great. And he said, well, can we use you for the vinyl wrap now instead? And I said, yeah, of course, not a problem. Give me a ring anytime you like, and we'll get something booked in. And I said they were showing me this extension that they were doing there's a single bay on the side of their unit, and they're getting into hydro dipping, which is another thing that they're pushing for, which I think is pretty cool. And at the side of that, they've got this really nice looking little clean room unit. So I said, what are you doing with this then? Said, well, it's just literally for handing over cars. We'll never do any polishing in there. It's just somewhere really, no tools, nothing on the walls, really nice and clean. It just makes the customer's eyes are just drawn to the car. I said, that'd be ideal for PPF. So you ever thought about having, upselling PPF? And he went, yeah, but we haven't got anybody to do it. I was like, hello. And I said, well, maybe we can do a deal then, and maybe you can upsell to your customers for me, and we can make something out of it together. So yeah, they were really keen for that. And also I said, would I be able to sublet it off you for the times that you're not using it, so I can bring some of my customers over? Not a problem. So it's just collaborating like that. It's fantastic. Yeah. And it's enabling me to push forward with what I want to do without having to, get a shop basically, which is extremely expensive when you've not rented before. You've got to put 6 months rent up front. And do you want to go down that road? And it's like, yeah, you do. But at the moment, with the way that everything is, you don't know. You want to take calculated risks, and at the moment, I can't calculate that. I can't justify it. So
I don't think anyone
you
can.
Try and look for different avenues and different ways that you can do things. And just fortunate, just knowing people like that you can do more and work together.
It's worked out well. It's sort of given you that support bridge, hasn't it, until the time comes to leap and do it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And it also gives you that taster of what it's going to be like as well, I suppose, as as having your own unit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
so well, good.
Do you reckon you will get your own unit at some point? Is that the plan?
I hope so. Yeah. That there is another collaboration on the cards. Again with EZ Car Care, because I'm friends with Darren, the owner, obviously being Manchester based. And they're just moved. They're moving premises in August, and they want to do 3 booths and a training centre. So there's a big potential for there, because they want to start producing a professional range to run alongside their other business model. And he's asked for support. I'm willing to give the support, and I'm willing to do some work with him for sure. So there could be an opportunity for me there to have some booths, and potentially, depending on how it goes, there could be extra staff there as well. So we'll just have to see how things pan out. Because obviously he's got his current business model in the consumer market, with his, not a lot of people agree with his business strategy style and things like that, but that's his business, not mine. But hopefully we can make something work. And I would love to have my own unit outright. Absolutely. And I think from working at Halo for those 2 years, where we were just turning out a lot of correction and coating work, and it kind of gave me a taster of what I'd like to do with a unit. And then what, I saw a lot of things that went on that I think I'd, learned from mistakes, so to speak. And I'd like to do differently myself. But we'll have to wait and see. It's definitely something that I aspire to. I don't want to be mobile forever, for sure. But it's just with the current situation, with the country and whatnot, it's just working with the best of a bad thing, really.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it helps your situation with you've been offered such a great thing. It's to give it up. So, well, no, maybe not give it up, but why take on the extra pressure when you've got such a great setup already?
Yeah, exactly. If I can make something work flexibly, keep my mobile clients that serve me well, and that I want to keep, and maybe take on some more unit-based work, but again for what I want to take on. It'd be nice to be able to sort of be in a cherry pick position. Like I say, again, especially with everything going on at the moment, you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. I'm still quite nervous about the way things will pan out. Will we go back into a lockdown again and be stopped working? It's quite a difficult thing to consider, really. So yeah, having the flexibility, very, very fortunate, very fortunate.
Yeah, because obviously they've just extended lockdown again, haven't they? Full lockdown for another month. So
Yeah,
because of the whatever it is, this new variant, the
Delta variant.
Delta, yeah,
this time round, yeah,
the Delta code or whatever it is, yeah, definitely. So,
yeah,
so yeah, interesting one again. So it's obviously affecting a lot of people with it again, but it's
yeah.
What do you do? It's apparently to save lives, so
Yeah,
gotta go with the flow.
absolutely, mate. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get bogged down with it, but you worry about the other side of things with people's mental health and being stuck indoors and
absolutely,
paranoid about what's out there, and it's a double-edged sword, unfortunately. While you can save lives and reduce hospital
admissions
with COVID, are you affecting things in other ways?
Exactly. Yeah, it does affect people in other ways. I know when first lockdown came, my youngest daughter works in a school, and she was told she couldn't go to school because of obviously to do the payroll side of things, she had to stay at home. She was actually petrified to go outside.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even come to work with us. She was like, no, because I might get arrested by the police. You're not going to get arrested by the police, but she was petrified. She wouldn't even go to the shops. She wouldn't go anywhere. She was absolutely petrified that she was going to catch this thing, that everybody was going to die and she was going to kill us. And she just wouldn't leave the house. And it actually took quite some months to get her to go out.
Wow. Well,
she came to work with us and realized it was okay. But and then we had a scary moment at work where a client came in after the first lockdown ended, came from Leeds, just barged in the building right up to my wife's face, which I wasn't happy about. No masks on whatsoever. We had masks on, and I'm just like, you've got no respect for other people at all. And you've got my wife here, my kids here, and she's not seeing her mother for 3 months, and now you've just ruined it because she can't go see her now because we don't know whether you got COVID or not.
Yeah.
And it's just, but yeah, unfortunately, people are like that. There's sensible people, and you got good people with both sides of things, haven't you? At the end of the day, so
no, absolutely, yeah.
But it is a worry. I think it's just going with what you've got. That opportunity with the unit is a great one, and I think it's a good one to sort of go with definitely before you take that massive leap. And it works out like with the unit you got or with Darren. Why would you want to take that leap at the end of the day? And it's
no, of course.
It's the same with anything. If Darren's methods of selling work, what's the problem?
Well, business is business, Richard. Yeah, and
of course it is.
He's got a lot of fans of the product.
Absolutely,
people have their opinions and their problems with it, but at the end of the day, he's still turning out good product, and it works. I use his products. I don't have any issues with them whatsoever. The things that people have been affected with, like with delivery times and things like that, it never affects me because he's around the corner from my house. I always collect.
Yeah.
or he drop it by at my house on the way home. So I never have any of those sort of issues.
Yep.
And it's always just ordered over the phone for me. I never have any problems with it. So the things that people complain about, I don't see any of that whatsoever.
No, exactly. Someone wants to have a sales technique. As long as that sales technique works and makes the money, I don't see what the problem is.
I mean, it's just aggressive marketing is what it is. And, it's just because he doesn't follow suit with what everybody else does and fit into the clique, so to speak. People turn their noses up at it, and one person will jump on the negative bandwagon, and then there's a load of people that haven't even used the product that follow suit behind because they want their 5 seconds of fame on a comments post or whatever. But I've never had any issues with the company whatsoever, and we work well together. So I don't see any issue with it whatsoever. I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, and it's a good collaboration, as you say. Why would you want a unit when you've got that opportunity sat there in front of you? It's
absolutely.
And especially when the guy, you can work together. That's the main thing with it. So it's not like you're going into an unknown territory as well. So you're going into a territory that in a great opportunity, with what sounds to be fantastic plans going forward with Darren's business as well as your own. Which
completely. Yeah. So why worry about the risk when?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When there virtually isn't. So because you literally got a roof there that's that somebody else has provided, sort of thing, over your head. So it's good. Definitely.
It's going back to like when you was doing your milk round. You are cushioning yourself, net, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And it's a smart way to do things.
Yep. Yeah. You got that cushion with your starting off with the milk round, like Adam says, and building that business up, and you now got the same thing there. You know, you got that cushion there, and it's you're building your business at the same time, and you never know, it could lead to other things that you could end up being providing training and everything else. You never know.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
PPF training, the whole bloody shooting match. You know, it could be a massive opportunity for you. It's something to definitely consider, without a doubt. I mean, to me, I just see sort of massive opportunities there with what you've mentioned. Yeah, it's not even my place, and I'm quite excited for what you. That's the great.
Yeah, well, that's just the way your mind works, isn't it, as a businessman?
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, there's definitely some merit in it, anyway.
Yeah.
So Richard just mentioned training. Have you done any other training? Obviously, you said you did PPF training. Have you done anything else?
Yeah. So I spent some time with John Clough from Advanced Detailing over in Leeds. I spent some time with Simon from Cambridge Concourse. He gave me some really good insights into leather and how to care for it, and what identify and things like that when I was at Halo. Done some window tint training. But other than that, really, a lot of it's been down to experience and practice on my own and research. As a person, I'm a bit of a geek, and I'm quite research heavy with things. And I'll read and I'll read and I'll read, and I've got books, and there's a lot of things on detailing world forum which I've read and read again. And obviously you've got YouTube, and then the most important thing though is to go away and practice, because somebody can show you something or tell you something. You can walk away and go and think that you're doing that action or that practice, that method. You could be doing something completely different. It's just whatever you've deciphered it as. So go by results. And I've got panels. I've had lots of panels purposely burnt through. Used a lot of different products, and in the earlier days, and I'm sure you'll know yourself, when you're starting out, you buy up a lot of products trying to search for the right thing that works for you. And once you've found that system that works and you've proven works, really it's just a matter of honing your skill then and becoming more efficient. So I do want to do some more training with go down to Advanced this year, hopefully at the end of the year, and go and see John and do some more one-to-one stuff with him on one of his week courses. I'm definitely gunning for that. I also like to do some more leather training as well, in the event of me potentially doing something with Darren. I'd like to have that under the umbrella as well, and understand that a little bit more.
I know a good guy for that.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'll pass you on his details.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I like the leather stuff. It has opened a lot of doors in my business. It is a nice little add-on, and not certainly not round our way. There's not many people doing it.
No, and there isn't round here either.
There
isn't round here either.
Manchester way, we get so many calls Manchester way, and we've got nobody out there, and we just have to turn the work away. So
really?
How many? I mean, again, the job today, the guy's like, it's 90 miles from, or 80 miles from Birmingham or something, which is the closest one we've got. And he's like, I'm not traveling there.
Yeah, no, that's still, people don't want to travel for it.
It's the closest one we've got, and there's actually nobody out there at all. Nobody at all. And it is a great, great opportunity.
Yeah. No, well, sign me up.
There's a website you can go on, prorestorers.co.uk. It's a Wikipedia website. Go on it, have a look at it, just read it. It's as masses of information that you'll love to read. Read it over and over and over. There's everything you need to know there about leather. Anything and everything you need to know. It's all there. There's the history of it, how it's made, how to care for it, restore it, every single type, from fish to cows to pigs to bloody goats to elephants to everything. It's the whole lot is there. Anything and everything you need to know about leather is all there on prorestorers.co.uk.
Well, I'll have to check it out, definitely.
Information.
Yeah, it sounds like a good read.
There's video links. There's absolutely everything on it. There's picture tutorials. There's the whole lot on it.
Yeah.
And if there's something not there, just ask me. Simple. Inbox me.
Yeah. No. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely something that I've not looked into enough. I've always been very paint focused. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that I want to get on now.
I think the industry in total has that kind of thing, though.
Perception, just paint.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Yep. Like a lot of people just concentrate on the exterior, and the interior stuff does tend to get washed over a little bit.
I mean, it's like you look at lacquer on leather, you're talking, around about 5 So, I mean, there's nothing like car paintwork. That's why you've got to be so careful with leather. You've got to be so careful with it. The lacquer coat on there is so minuscule, and it's things like, obviously steam cleaning you cannot do because you're just going to delaminate it and everything, and then inject moisture into the foam, create mold, and the problems just grow and grow and grow with doing things incorrectly with leather. And it's like detailing. Once you get into it, it becomes almost like
wormhole.
It literally invades you, because there's so many avenues to go down with it, and so many things to think about. And it's like we had the open day on Saturday with some of the guys, and they were saying it's like the stuff I learned about leather, I had no idea, and it's just like opened my eyes up completely. And and we weren't really doing a great deal with it. We were just sort of touching the surface with a couple of things, and it is surprising what you think you maybe know. And even I learn still today what I think I know. And it's like, Christ, I didn't realize that. And all of a sudden,
every day is a skill, though.
Yeah, and you just learn these things, and even I'm learning today, and you just learn every single day, everything.
No, absolutely. No, for sure. That's why I'm still interested in doing training every year. I like to put a section of money to one side through the year, and then try and get a decent training course in, just to broaden my horizons. I've done alloy wheel refurbishment courses, and I've not used it, but I wanted to understand the process that went behind it, and because it could have been a potential business opportunity at some point, I've got the kit to do it. But it's just, I'd rather pass the work onto somebody else, because there's a great powder coater in Stockport that I use, and it's not worth me spending the time with investing in the extra equipment that I need to do it commercially. So it's one of them. It's just understanding something is important. You have the basis of it then. Whether you use it or not, you understand it.
Definitely. I think better than more education.
It does show, though, when you're talking to a customer and you can answer all these questions, even though you might not offer it, but when you can answer that question and give them that information,
it adds value to you as an individual,
100%,
doesn't it?
100%, yeah.
So obviously with the correction side of it, what sort of machines do you have?
I use a Shinemate rotary. I think it's the EP801, and then the rest of it's all a Rupes system, really. LHR21, Mark 1, that's old school.
Old school.
And then I've got a Mark 2 15 as well. And I use a small rotary, which is a Shinemate machine again, EP803, and I use that for a lot of the small areas. And then another Shinemate machine that I've got as well is their mini polisher, which is like I guess it's like a Rupes 75, really. And it's like a 3-inch pad machine. But there's not much that I can't do with those, really. Any sanding that I've done has been by hand. I've never really sanded with a machine before. That's something that I'd be interested in doing, but there's never really that much need to kind of wet set, other than texture leveling. But again, I just kind of try and work it by hand and just do it slowly. So that's realistic with my machine uses. I'm in love with this Visa range at the moment. It's just working so well for me with the pads and polish combos. They're just working fantastic. Work so well. The heat control of the pads is ace. They seem to last a long time. And the compounds just work fantastically across the range as well. Yeah.
No, I keep hearing real good things about them.
Yeah.
I don't think I've tried yet.
No, I haven't tried them either. A lot of people keep mentioning about how good they are. And I've always been with the Rupes stuff, and I love it, and it works well. And now the pads are also improved on some of them as well. It's even better, especially blue ones and stuff. So
I'm looking forward to trying this new range. I've not actually tried their new stuff yet. I've still got some of their old range. Which I do go back to. I was using ultrafine the other day. What was I refining? It was a black Bentley. It's a Conti 4-door, what they call now.
The spur.
Yes, the flying spur.
Yeah.
I just couldn't refine it out. It just kept leaving little tiny, shadow marring on it, and I can't get rid of this. And ended up going back to ultrafine with an ultrafine pad. Boom, gone.
Yeah.
Just sometimes it's just go back to something. It's a bit of an old kit, and it works perfectly. I've still got a lot of skull polishes that I use as well. The S Plus range. And sometimes I've got something a bit tricky. I'll just pick it up and think, I used to use it so much when I was at Hale. I was pick it up and think, yeah, I'll give this a try. Boom, and it's gone, and it's like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just try something a bit different, go back to something that you've known a long time, and you know, it happens.
Yeah, that
like Maguire's 205. The amount of times that I've picked that up and just been able to fix something, and it's, you know, that's ancient, that stuff.
That is now, yeah.
You just know how to work it. It works for you, doesn't it?
I mean, the Saturday just gone when we had the opening day, that was the first time I've used the new pads, but the new Rupes polish, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Because I have used the Rupes system before, and I didn't think it was good. It was good, but there was better on the market. Yeah. And then this new range is, I mean, we was taking out some serious sanding marks out of a panel. I mean, we're not sanding as such as like to take out leveling or like that, or scratches. We was installing scratches with the sanding.
Yeah, sure.
And the lads were using the coarse wool, and the finish was, he could have sent it out the door.
Yep.
Really?
Honestly, it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe it, how good it was. 90% of customers would have been happy with it.
Really?
We would put scratches in.
Definitely have to give some of that a go.
Yeah, with like pen knives as well. So I mean, when you're putting scratches in with them, and it's virtually taking them out, and you can physically feel them, and it's virtually moving them. I mean, and very quickly. That was the thing with it. It wasn't slow; it was very quick. You know, and it worked really, really well, very well.
Oh, that sounds fab. No, I'll definitely have to give them a try.
Because it's all the angle of the pads has changed as well. So I mean, it's they're not straight sided anymore. So I mean, they're a lot better as well.
Yeah,
a better bumper zone to them and everything. It is a lot better.
No, that's good, because that's something that I had struggled with refining with some of the Roots pads, because I've had the tendency for the edge of the pad to pull over on itself and then install some marring back in itself. So I've had to, in times gone by, firm up the pad to actually refine it, you know, and use a firmer pad to refine with it, or, you know, change it completely. So that is something that I'd kind of experienced with their pads in the past, with their ultra fine pads, at least on some finishes. But no, I'm looking forward to giving them a go for sure. I always love trying new products. That's the thing that keeps me really interested in this as well, is just trying new things. And it's not for the want of something better. It's just for the want of something slightly different in your arsenal that you can rely on and go, oh yeah, I've done something like that before with this, and you can just pull it out and bang it, you know, and it's done. They all work so very differently, even though they are in effect the same, you know, the same things as what they do. It works so very differently. And I just love the time and the R&D that people put into these products to get them where they're at. Yeah, really tip my hat to them.
So you made me laugh then when you were saying about trying new things, because being a Yorkshire man, I'm so tight. And if it works for me, I'm using it. I don't really buy out else because it's not up to standard, and I waste my money. Yeah. I am bad for that, to be fair.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's the risk that you run. But then when you speak to people like yourself and they're saying, "Well, this is good. This really worked for me," you go, "Right, well, maybe I can take a punt on that." Then, you know, it's not just a new label with a new marketing spin and a fresh bit of oomph behind it. Yeah, it's, you know, when you speak to other professionals that are using it, that's what I did with this Visa range. I saw the buzz coming, and I waited for it, and then I saw a few of the, you know, I saw Mike Leddy at Waxstock promoting it, and I had a good chat with him there. And when was that? Like 19, was it? I think
2019. Yeah, he was there 2019.
And I had a chat with him about it there, and he said, "No, mate, do it. Just give it a try." He said, and tell me I'm wrong. Like, not look back really.
I need to try
you see a few of the experienced guys using it and giving it good, you know, good feedback. You think, well, it's worth a punt there, because they're not cheap. You know, when you're buying a range, you're in three figures, so it's a decent enough investment for you to not like it. You know, you've got to turn the work out to bring that money back in and use the products to bring it back in. So, so I'm with you on that. Not being a little bit tight with it, but I'm always willing to try it. Just don't like buying things off buzz. It just doesn't. Doesn't do it for me.
And that kind of loops back to what you were saying earlier about people jumping on the bandwagon and with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's usually, most of it is all centered around social media.
Yeah,
you wouldn't see it otherwise.
No,
you
absolutely.
Wouldn't see that much personal opinion blighted about otherwise.
Well, that always amazed me, right? you go on these social media pages and every detail or valet, whatever one you call it, are at each other's throats.
Yeah.
You go to Wagstock, there's never any fights.
No.
You know what I mean? It's everyone's the keyboard warrior out there. That's the
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, there's always bitching and screaming on there, and like you say, they're everybody's best buddy when they're at an event somewhere. You know, it's just unbelievable. Or especially when they want something, they're your best buddy.
Yeah.
It's been
looking for a freebie handout.
Yeah, it's been like a bitch fight on social media, and then all of a sudden they need you, and it's like, "Hello, how are you?"
Yeah, absolutely. And can I have a discount code while I'm here as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you had any major downs when in business then? You know, something that kind of kicked you down a little bit?
Yeah, so I've suffered a fair bit with mental health issues, with anxiety and depression, and that really caught up with me near the end of 2018 or mid 2018. I didn't deal with it properly beforehand as a problem. I experienced it from my early 20s, and kind of always brushed it to one side, didn't deal with it properly. Didn't seek out the right help when I needed it. Kind of just like shrug yourself off, right? Get yourself busy, you know, go and focus on you, do whatever you're doing, you know, whether it was my engineering job at the time or whether it was my detailing career, and kind of moved around a lot in the engineering world, and then ended up coming into the detailing industry and thinking that I was kind of curing my problem or a problem that I didn't actually realize what I was going through. And then it caught up with me, and it was near the time of me leaving Halo and that company disbanding. And that for me was like the pinnacle. When I'd got to Halo, I was the pinnacle of where I wanted to be. You know, when someone says to you, what's your 5-year plan? If someone would have said to me in 2013 when I started in detailing, what's your 5-year plan? It'd be like unit based, polishing supercars every day, coatings all day. That was all I wanted to do. I wanted to be at that level. And when I got there, I was on cloud 9, but I was so busy and I took so much on personally as well. I wasn't even working for the customers anymore. I was just working for myself. I was obsessed with trying to better it all the time and do it a little bit quicker, a little bit better, a little bit nicer, or getting different, you know, constantly trying to improve all the time. Put a lot of pressure on myself, and then just didn't make any time to kind of sort any of my issues out that I had underlying. And it just came to a crumple point eventually. And I just kind of lost the plot a little bit. And that was kind of a big setback in a lot of ways. But then in a lot of other ways, it was the beginning of a lot of new things. And this is the whole point of function and form for me of changing the name and the rebrand after Halo, was to have a fresh start. And I sought proper advice with a professional counsellor, and worked things through over a period. And I'm really happy to say that I'm actually the happiest and safest and most fulfilled that I've ever been, really. And,
brilliant.
So yeah, as a setback wise, nothing necessarily in business, but personally, that held me back, because I feel with function and form, I would have been a lot further along now than I would have been if I wouldn't have had that little mini meltdown. Yeah. And yeah, so I think that's really the only real setback for me was not dealing with things properly myself. I'm sorry, I know it's quite deep, but that's
cool. No, that's fine. No, I understand all that. Don't worry. It's something you don't know about me yet, but yeah, I understand all that. So yeah, it's cool.
Well, it's difficult, and sometimes you just don't realize that you're going through it until you actually get to a real melting point, and then, you know, people are like, you okay? And it's like, well, finally someone's actually, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's
take my hat off to you for that.
Yeah,
you didn't have to open up like that tonight. I wasn't expecting the answer at all. But, I take my hat off to you for, because it is something that, I mean, I know Richard's got like his mental health charity and stuff, and it is something that does need more acknowledgement, and I think it is majorly lacking in men. I think we tend to get swept underneath the carpet a little bit. I don't know if things are changing, but
everybody's always told to man up, and it's one of the worst things you can ever tell somebody that's going through what you're going through or what I've been through in my lifetime. It's like you've been told to man up. It's the worst thing you can possibly do.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's there's many ways around dealing with it other than just saying get some balls and man up. You know what I mean? You can't do that because that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear. You want that reassurance. It's finding someone you can trust to talk to at the end of the day as well, so that you can literally pour your heart out to them.
Yeah.
And offload what you're going through. And that's what it boils down to at the end of the day, a lot of the time. And it's finding that help that you got has obviously helped you enormously to get you where you are today.
Oh, completely.
You were able to talk to that person quite openly and freely without having judgment against you. And that's what you need. You need not somebody that is going to give zero judgment whatsoever.
Absolutely. And you know, I'll add to that as well. I've always had my wife. I've been with my partner for 15 years. And she's literally my best mate. She's my absolute rock. And I've always confided in her. She's known for years what I've been going through. But the thing is she's emotionally attached to me.
Yeah. And
I can't open up. Yes. I can open up in any way that I want to and not a problem. Yep. But it's having the professional advice on the other side that changed it for me. It was having somebody to guide you with what to do with the way that you're feeling, rather than just being a sounding board and, you know, giving you the reassurance that, you know, everything is going to be all right. You wake up tomorrow and you will feel different. And it's like, yeah, I will. But, you know, I feel like this right now and it might be another week before I'm feeling better. But going to a counsellor and seeing someone professionally that can help guide you to come through the other side. So when you are feeling really low or you are feeling super anxious and you don't want to go outside or put a post on social media or whatever it might be, it's knowing how to react properly and how to work through it to actually move forwards rather than just survive.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah. And it's like having your partner or your wife or whatever that you've been with for so many years. You can talk to them and be honest with them about anything you like, but when it's something like that, it's so difficult to sort of talk to them about that. And that's, you know, and that it is very difficult to talk to them about that. And you almost need somebody else that's totally independent to talk to them.
Yeah, impartial.
You almost sort of feel like you're being a burden to them by offloading that onto your partner. You know what I mean? And that's the problem that people are faced with. And they don't realize that. And it's you know, it's the same sort of thing that I went through, which is why we started the charity over a year ago. And it wasn't a year ago that I went through it. It was just through years of prior to that and having friends taking their own lives, which has made me sort of do this and saving one guy's life and getting him to a good position where he was, and literally at the point where he was going to kill himself. And I didn't even realize I was doing good. And this was many, many years ago. And I saved the guy's life. And I could understand why he kept saying to me, I owe you my life. And eventually he told me one day and the reason why. And I had no idea, but it was just naturally me just talking to the guy. But you almost sort of feel like you're a burden telling them and you're affecting them.
100%, yeah.
People don't understand that when you're going through a mental health issue, they really don't realize how it's a very crude word, but how screwed up you actually are. And it's very difficult. I don't know how else to put it.
It's right the way you've put it, yeah.
You are just so confused with it. And that's what people do need to realize that. And it's saying the wrong thing on social media can have such a devastating effect on somebody, even though they don't realize they're doing it. And it's very strange, snidey comment. They don't realize how powerful that comment could be, even though they maybe don't mean it intentionally.
But it resonates, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they have no idea how bad that can actually be to someone's state of mind when they have no idea what they're going through. There's always a smile on someone's face. You know, I smile, you smile, but they don't know what's behind that smile. And sometimes the smile is trying to hide a million problems, you know. And we can all sit there and have a smile, but they don't realize what is behind that smile.
Yeah.
And it's like I've always said, I'm a great believer in sometimes just opening up a door for somebody, just saying, have a nice day. You know, it's like I do. Sometimes crossing the Humber Bridge on the odd occasion. In like the last few days, I've done it. I've seen a car behind me. I have no idea who they are. And I've said to the guy, charge my card for the car for me and the car behind, and just say, have a nice day from me.
Yeah.
You know, and I do that quite often.
It could perk someone up a little bit that they need.
Of course it could do, because it's, you know, one guy did it too. I particularly chose this one guy and deliberately slowed down to do it, to make sure he sat behind me with some old boy in a very old beaten up car with a very old battered caravan. And he was obviously trying to do something with his life and enjoy something with this caravan and do something. And you could tell the guy really didn't have 2 bloody 8 minutes to rub together. It's only £1.50. It could mean a coffee to him.
Yeah, sure.
Me, I've just helped the guy out and just gave me a bit of pleasure. Do you know what I mean? It just gave me a bit of happiness. just maybe helped that guy and bought him a cup of coffee without him
Yeah.
even knowing. You know, the toll guy said, he said, thanks, you know, have a nice day. The guy doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't know him, but so what? It's only £1.50.
Yeah.
You know, it just helps. It's just those little things, you know, that are so important.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, absolutely.
On the opposite side, then, obviously, we just talked about a very low point. What's been your best high point in business?
It's a bit of a tough one, really. And I think no matter how difficult the time was at Halo with the way everything was, I think that was also some of the highest points. Like, I love the guys that I work with. I work with two guys. One of them's actually my brother-in-law to be, I guess. There's Greg and there was Aidan. So Greg's a mechanic, and Aidan's was the vinyl wrapping and film technician. And we had an absolute ball while we were working on those cars, and we had amazing cars coming through, like endless. I mean, I'm a big Porsche fan, and we had endless Porsches coming through. We had contracts with Ferrari down at Egham at Maranello, and we wrapped a 488 challenge car for them. Just the metal that we were touching was fantastic, and I felt really like we were blessed to be around all these beautiful machines and to be meeting all these really interesting, cool people that had all these fantastic cars and, you know, car clubs, and it was all the meets, and we'd go down to the racetracks, and yeah, there was a lot, you know, for as extreme and as many as the low points were at that time in my life, there was also a hell of a lot of high points and a lot of good stuff. Really enjoyed it. As a car guy, you know, it's kind of what you want to be around and where you want to be. Yeah, it was. I think they were probably the high points, really. But I think to second that, I think is where I'm at now and where I am currently, because I feel that everything that I've learned over the last 7 years, I'm finally just clicking into place for me, and like all the networking and all the you know, the training and the learning and the R&D and yeah, all the little avenues that I've gone down over the years, I feel like everything's finally clicking into place now, and that, you know, I'm strong and I'm good and going forward in the way that I want where I want to go, and, you know, give it another 5 years, where will I be then? And I've got the excitement, I've got the bug back again, and so I guess the high points really is now, you know, it's good times.
Yeah, and I think with what you're talking about, I think there's even better higher points to come as well. So, you know,
all being well, being well. If everything, like I say, if everything clicks together just how we want it to, we keep working towards the plan. We've got some good things in the pipeline.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly some good plans there for the future. That's without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%.
So, where would you like to see yourself in the 5 years then?
I'd love to be running a small shop, really, whether it be with you know, a collaboration with the likes of Darren and Easy, or whether it be something on my own, with my own vision. I'd like to be running my own little shop, maybe a couple of guys helping me out, and I'd like to focus on correction and PPF work, really, but have the guys there to help me out with a lot of the, you know, like a lot of the prep work and things like that. Well, that's my ideology of where I'd like to be, and maybe get into some foundation training, just to help people not make simple mistakes, especially when using products in, like, you know, different times of year, like now. People just not understanding that when the car's in the shade, it is still warm. It's still, you know, maybe too warm to work on, especially probably too warm to put a tire remover over black plastic trim. And some people just don't understand. Well, I didn't do it in direct sunlight, you know, and they're just not. It's education, really. Exactly. And I'd like to be doing not top level stuff necessarily, but I think helping people get a foot up would be great. A guy messaged me today asking for some advice, and I'm just helping him out. I'm getting nothing from it whatsoever, but it's just to make sure that people aren't making simple mistakes, and, you know, could help him out, and it could save him maybe an expensive problem on someone's car, and it might also save him 3 months worth of research, and he could just learn like that overnight, and get him that foot up to wherever he wants to be, where he wants to start his own valeting company, mobile. So just a few questions back and forth, bit of help about machines and what to avoid, what to look for, and yeah, a bit of training, and a nice little shop would be great in the next 5 years.
And driving a Porsche.
Obviously, that's
yeah,
on the cards.
Yeah,
on the cards.
Obviously, getting that so where people are asking you questions, it must lift your spirits, because I mean, obviously they're coming to you for advice. So I mean, they're looking at you as like the superior guy almost, and it must give you some sense of like massive achievement that people are coming to you and saying, you know, I want advice from you.
Yeah, it's certainly affirming of what I do, and people must see the things I do or whatever, and then they must look towards it for sure. So yeah, it is affirming. It is a little pat on the back at the same time that people are coming forward to you. It does feel good. I suppose that's the kind of the good thing that you get out of it in a way, really.
You will get something back from that though. At some point, you're going to help one of these people, and they will return that favour.
Oh, they will do. Yeah. They'll return it. Definitely. Yeah. They'll be like you. There's something they can't do. They'll send them to you. Like you, something you can't do, you send to somebody else. You know, and that favour will come back, and that's the favour that they're going to return one day. And they will be at the point where they're like, I can't do this. It needs somebody else that's got a lot more skill level than I have, and they're like, you know, they're knocking on your door.
No, absolutely. There's always someone out there that knows more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a few guys that I can reach out to and I can ask for advice when I need it, and they're always there. They always have been. So it's nice to pass it on down the line, you know.
Yeah. Same here. It's same with us. You know, we've got guys that are in the tanning industry that help us, and you know they're far superior than what we are, and you know we're always looking up to those guys to help us with information with the leather side of it. And it's because things change all the time, and it's just constantly changing. The industry changes every day, and it's massively changed, especially at the moment. It's really massively changing with the environmental side of it and the friendly side of it. The actual leather industry is changing so rapidly at the moment. It's really rapidly changing, more than any other industry there is in the world at the moment. It's changing so fast and so much at the moment. And trying to keep up with that change is a nightmare. And there's
a hell of a lot going on.
And that's where I got these people that we can rely on. There's only one of them up the road, Driffield, and there's other guys around the country, down in Cornwall and Europe, and they're everywhere. And I mean, but they're just people that we look up to that help us all the time.
Yeah, and it's great to have those connections.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what
For
do you
the
think?
most part, we're kind of lost without them.
Yes,
absolutely. Richard was just touching on it then, but what do you think is going to be the next big thing in the industry?
It's difficult to say really, because it kind of feels like everything's almost been done. I mean, we've got like dedicated tire cleaners out there now, and next big thing in the industry. It's real tough to say.
I know it's a massive open question, that one, but
and stuff like that doing the rounds at the moment, haven't you? And do you think that's going to sort of stay, or is it going to change? Is ceramic going to go out and something else is going to come in? And because obviously you've got a problem with car manufacturers, haven't you? Saying, we're not going to guarantee the paintwork now if you put ceramic on it, and all this sort of palaver. Is that them just trying to put weight on people because they want to sell you their own coating?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. I mean, the whole ceramic and graphene thing kind of gets me anyway, because it's all based around buzzwords. It's all realistically, from my opinion, it's a sales tactic.
Yeah.
And you can get some waxes that perform as well hydrophobically as a coating, and they just don't last as long.
Yeah.
The graphene thing, it's got some merit to it. But realistically, in the use that it's in, for what it is, it's super heat resistant. It's flexible still, but realistically, in a coating, is it actually going to uphold those attributes effectively and efficiently? I mean, I don't know enough. I'm not a chemist. I've only known and seen what I've read. But I don't know. I think there's always going to be another buzz thing that comes along. And I think waxes will come back around. It's just have to wait and see what's coming about. But I really do think that PPF is up and coming. There's a lot more of it about now than there was when I started doing it in 2017. So I mean, starting to offer it as one of my services as well. I'm hoping that it is going to become more popular. But people are becoming more educated around what coatings are now, and about the way that they should be applied. You know, more and more of my customers are coming to me asking me for them, and it was something in the past where I'd be trying to sell it them, whereas now they're kind of asking me for a bit of education on it. So I think maybe the next thing to come round is a little bit more normalization with customers of what's currently already available, and potentially, I don't know whether it's just the change of where I'm selling to, or who I'm selling to, or the circles that I'm moving in. But I feel like a little bit more normalization of detailing and people being a bit more educated is more than likely to kind of come around now. Where the industry will go, it's very difficult to say. It's kind of, a lot of it's controlled about, you know, around the masses and what consumers want. So it really depends who's shouting loudest. But I've used some of the graphene products that are out there. Are they above and beyond a ceramic product? I find it hard to see the merit. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
I'm a believer in what you said as well. Waxes are going to come back round. I do believe that as well. I think they will do. I think they will do the realms again.
Yeah, I really hope so as well, because I'm a bit of a wax nut. I love my waxes.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I do as well. But I think they will do as well. Adam isn't,
Yeah.
but I think he will. He's knocks it.
If I ever waxed a car again, it'd be too soon. Honestly, I hate waxing.
Well, fair enough, but that's what we've got coatings for, is for the people like yourself that don't enjoy the process of it. I mean, I find it so therapeutic and relaxing to wax a car. I love it. I think it's great. But I understand where you're coming from with on the coating side, because when you come to wash it every other week for the next 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, it's a dream.
Yeah.
And there's no maintenance to it. It's a dream. So I really do see the merit on that side. But it's just blown way out of context with all the buzzwords around it.
Yeah.
And I think if there was just some more clarity, the market would be much more boring. Don't get me wrong. Everything would be much more boring. It'd be very plain without it all, because we wouldn't have all this to talk about. But it'd be very clear and concise.
We won't be setting cars on fire to prove that it's fireproof. I think that's a great advert.
Yeah.
Never known anything so oversold sort of thing as that. If my car's on fire, let it burn. I don't want it back. Bloody hell. So what do you think?
Because you've got a coating on it that improves the colour and gets rid of all the scratches and waterproofs it and fireproofs it.
Yeah, bounce bullets off it.
Yeah. All in one product.
All in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to apply as well.
Oh yeah, obviously.
That'll be on there, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So no buff formula.
Yeah.
You just spray on and that's it. Walk away.
Yeah.
What do you think the industry's lacking then? What do you think we need to improve on as a whole?
Now, I know that there's a few other people that have said this as well, but I think it should be there should be more things around certification and around proving whether you can actually work to that sort of level attained. And I think the main thing is for being checked that you're insured. More than anything, even before any skills have been assessed or anything like that, I think insurance is a big factor, because some of these tools and chemicals that we use as in our industry are very dangerous. So it's not even to the point of using something on a car incorrectly and then it damaging it. It's if someone grabs hold of one of your products or trips over an extension lead in the street, especially if you're a mobile guy like me, you've got no public liability. You could be seriously down the river with that. Like you could be in big trouble. You could be in big trouble if you damage someone with your lance off your pressure washer or whatever, or someone gets hold of one of your products, a child, while you're out or whatever. Anything can happen.
Yeah, easily done.
And you've got to have your back turned with your back of your van open, haven't you? And they pick up a product and think, "What's this?" And hey, press.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like one of my good friends has a carpet cleaning company. And whenever he goes on site, he has to have an MSDS sheet in his van. Yep. And in the office of say it's an apartment block or a hotel, he has to send all the MSDS sheets of everything that he's got in his van to that office before he's even stepped 1 foot on the property. Yep. And he has to have a copy inside his van at all times as well. And it's like, well, how is that so heavily regulated? But then our industry, where I use probably 10 times as many different chemicals as he does, he only uses 3 or 4.
Yep.
But I've got like 10 times more, 2 different tire removers, you know, and whatever else in the van. And I don't have to do anything. I just have to turn up and clean the car. And it's, you know, never mind the verifying skills and things like that. I think on the safety side of things, that should be heavily policed for what we do.
He'll be doing.
I think that's something that's really lacking.
Yep, and he'll be doing.
Any Joe Blogs can just rack up and do as he pleases, and you've got no idea where he's learnt to do what he does. And but this brings us back to the very beginning when we were talking about people's view of the car cleaning industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Is, you know, a lot of people kind of turn the nose down at it, or turn the nose up at it, should I say?
Yeah.
Look down at it.
Yep.
Because they don't understand the complexity of some of the things. And I'm not sounding arrogant when I say that. It can get quite complex with what we do. So yeah, I think a bit of policing in the industry would go down a treat.
It definitely wants governing, as you say. I think that's what, you know, the IDA are trying to do is to get this sorted. It's like with anything, it takes time.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost sort of the point where it wants to go to the way like gas safe is with that sort of industry.
Yeah.
And because too many people have jumped on that bandwagon of saying I'm a detailer, a lot of them haven't got insurance and so on and so forth. And, you know, it's like really, I suppose in theory, if you're outside with pipes and cables, I would imagine under health and safety, you should do a risk assessment every time you go out doing something like that. Like your carpet cleaner will, you know, with his cost sheets and everything, he will have to do risk assessments for going somewhere. We have to do that when we work in the public sector. We've got to do risk assessments, submit them before we go and get onto someone's premises. We've got to submit all the paperwork before we go. And we're only cleaning leather sometimes. We've got to submit all those documents into these big brands or big high street stores or restaurants or hotels. You know, we've got to submit all those documents. We've got to submit risk assessments. And we're like, we can't submit a risk assessment until we've got there to assess the risk. And they're like, but you have it before you get here. It makes it very difficult. So, but we've got to, what their argument is, well, when you've been run and quoted, you should be paying attention to what you're looking at and assess that risk for when you come back.
Put it in with quotation time.
Exactly. And we've got to put that in. So again, it's something you're out doing mobile work. You should do a risk assessment. It's like cover cables, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I think maybe by law, it maybe should be done. I don't know, but something worth looking into.
Yeah.
I wonder if like we'd see a drop in new pop-up detailers, valeters, if it was like that.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing that I'd thought as well, because it's adding an extra level that people have got to meet. So it makes it a little bit more off-putting for someone to get into it unless they're deadly serious about doing it right. Because I've seen all sorts of states of cars that people have had cheap work done. And then they bring it through and you start, oh, well, I got this guy to do X, Y, and Z, and this has happened. And you see it all the time. And it's unfortunate for them because they're having to potentially pay for things twice or 1.5 times or whatever. And it's extra time out for them. And sometimes the damage is it's too far. And the guy's not got insurance or whatever it is, or he's disappeared.
The thing is, though, I mean, it's like
people losing out over it.
Yeah, you can go and buy a bottle of polish, say 4 or 5 quid, cheap one, £1 for a bottle of shampoo, £1 for a bucket, a couple of microfiber cloths. All of a sudden, you're a detailer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem the industry's got. And it's so easy to do that. Go and rock up on someone's door. So easy to get some things made, stick them on your car, whatever. Jay-Z detailing, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, it's only detailing if it says it on the side of the van, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And all of a sudden they rock up and these guys are detailing. And the thing is, how is that person on the street to know that they're not?
Yeah. No, absolutely. In their defense as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I see your insurance? They're not going to ask all those sort of things. They're going to trust that individual that's turned up. Whereas if you rock up with proper details to show like a gas safe accreditation that you are on this register, who are they going to believe? That's the thing. When you can physically see all that sort of recognition right from the beginning, that, and they can say, well, where's your recognition? Well, what do you mean I ain't got any? This is what I done.
Yeah.
Have you ever been asked directly, are you insured?
Yes, I have, of one customer.
One out of
only ever out a
what,
lot.
7, 8 years, did you say?
Yeah, 7
Wow.
years. 7 years in April it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was one.
So I mean,
I told him, yeah, and I told him I was insured with and what I was covered for, and he was happy with that.
But he didn't ask for any proof.
Didn't ask for the
So
proof.
I mean,
no.
that side of things, we were trusting these customers are trusting us with their
millions of pounds worth of
well,
cars.
it can be millions,
Yeah.
but I mean, to the normal people, thousands of pounds worth of stuff, and it's like, I often think that. I mean, I never did mobile, but I did a guy who lived in a mansion. We would go to him because he had a car collection, and he did look after us. And one thing I was always really worried about is this old mansion, which was a parish. I can't remember. It was old anyway. I was really worried about the electrics, and that was my biggest thing. I wasn't bothered about the cars.
Yeah.
If I plugged something into his electrics and it takes something out, then
because you're drawing a lot of current at times with some of the machinery that we use.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's worrying.
Yeah, and there is all that trust there with everybody. I think in all the years we've done it, we've maybe been asked half a dozen times, and but there is that trust there, and I think if you could get that trust over to the public, they would value what you do more as well, and they wouldn't be like, he can do it for 50 quid, can you do it for 40? Well, no.
Yeah.
They would understand how skilled the detailing industry actually really is, and understand why it costs 300 quid to do this, or 500 quid to do that, or 2,000 quid to do this. They would understand exactly why those charges come in if the knowledge was there. And I think that maybe needs explaining, that actual physical side of the knowledge, of the intensity of the knowledge that you need and the intensity of the work involved, I think needs to be, again, it boils down to education, doesn't it? And it's education for the public as well as the detailer. And that's where that education side of it needs to come into the actual general public, so that they understand why you charge what you charge.
So it's so it's the same across the board, but it's like you said earlier, Richard, as well. It's light restoration of the vehicle, isn't it? It's minor restoration.
That's exactly what you're doing. You are literally doing a minor restoration on that vehicle. Definitely.
Yeah. So I've recently joined the IDA, very recently, in fact. So I'm looking forward to working through with it, and I'm going to hopefully get my CD sorted in the near future. Because I think there is merit to it, and the only way to kind of grow it is to get more people on board. And I was just saying while we were off record earlier that one of my friends, Anthony Rice at KT Detailing, he's just signed up, and I was asking him, like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? And he said, mate, just go for it. Like, we need more people on board with it. So, he's right. And I've been contemplating it for a long time, last year. And it's been on my list for this last couple of months to kind of get it sorted as one of my things. And I thought, right, I'm doing this. I'm going to get on with it. But, with the whole anxiety thing really held me back beforehand, because there was 12 months with my business where I didn't even post on social media at all.
Wow.
I didn't post. If you mooch back through my Instagram for however long, there's a window where I just didn't post. The guys just wanted to be a privateer. I carried on normally. I probably gained more work when I started posting again. I don't advertise through social media. I kind of use it as a portfolio platform, just for people to find my portfolio online more so. After a point of contact usually as well. But yeah, I just kind of, I didn't want added involvement with other people, I guess. But now I can see there's more merit to it, because we can actually improve the way that things are online. With the right people, and with the people that are proper car care enthusiasts, car care professionals. You can make a difference with it. But like you say, you just need more people, and then you can give more education on it.
It's like with the idea. I mean, one person can't change anything, no matter what the industry is or what the cause, what you're fighting for. One person can't change anything. But when you've got a collective audience, that's when people start to listen. And that's what the IDA are doing. They're getting that collective audience. That's when the world are going to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When did you join?
I joined today.
Today?
Yeah, earlier this afternoon. Yeah, I had a cancellation this afternoon. I had a few jobs that I wanted to get through. A few bits of admin work, and I was like, right, well, I'll just get that boxed off now then. So yeah, I joined this afternoon.
Excellent.
You have to get yourself on the fortnightly call, which I think is
Wednesday
this week.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, it's worth going on there. And even if you just went on there and just sat and listened, it's good.
You'll learn something.
But you'll learn something all the time. I mean, even I pick stuff up from there. It's nearly every call I've been on, I've quickly made notes of something.
You got your notepad down.
Yeah, even if it's something to somebody to do with talking about a video or something, it's just, I mean, I've learned all sorts of things. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
They are good.
No, that sounds fab, yeah. Because like I say, I'm always interested in absorbing as much information as I can, yeah, so I think it'd be a good little idea that to get on with the guys there.
It's going back to what you were saying as well.
Meeting like-minded people as well.
Yeah. What I was just about to say, it puts you in that room.
Sorry, mate.
Puts you in that room rubbing shoulders with the industry professionionals. I mean, one of the first calls I went on, and I had Jason Rose, who to me is an absolute god in the detailing world, asking me how my day was, which blew my mind, sort of thing. But it's me.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll blow mine as well.
Yeah, it's well worth getting on. It's always and for anyone listening, you don't have to be a member to be on these calls. Pop on and you will learn something, and it gives you a nice little insight to what the idea is about.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask the closing question, Rich?
Yeah. So close it. We always ask everybody the same thing. It's quite a difficult one. If you could have told, if you could have told yourself one piece of information.
Yeah.
When you first started in business that you now know, what would it be?
I think it would be, don't take yourself so seriously and focus on working for your customer and not for your continuous improvement, really. Because I think when you're kind of driven for your own results and where you want to be and what you want to do, you can kind of, not that you ever lose sight of what you're doing for your customer. I don't mean it like that, but you kind of end up losing enjoyment. Like if you got into the industry because you love it, it can very, very quickly end up being a problem for yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, it was only through like my own competition of wanting to better myself. But you can drive yourself mad with it.
Yep.
And the other thing as well is speak to people and try and get as much training as you can, because people are pools of knowledge out there.
Yep.
And you can really save yourself some time. Time is money at the end of the day, and you make your day easier. I would have probably took training from earlier on, looking back, after going for training and being around people and like realizing how quick you can pick things up when you're being led, rather than kind of practicing yourself. I know I had great fun teaching myself a lot of things, but if I'd have started my training earlier on, I would have been further ahead. So that's kind of it for me, really.
Brilliant. I think it sums it up quite well.
Yeah, definitely. So that is it. Give us all your social media links. How can people get hold of you?
So I'm quite active on Instagram and Facebook. And you can get me at Function and Form Car Care on Facebook, and on Instagram I am Nate NATE_function_form.
Cool. Okay. And do you have a website as well, Nate? Or
no website currently?
Okay. So just on Instagram and on Facebook.
Just on the social platforms, on Facebook and Insta.
Good. Cool. Excellent.
And my mobile number's on both of the socials. So I'm always happy for a text message or a phone call if anyone wants to chat.
Yep.
Happy days.
Phone's always there.
Excellent. Wicked. No problem. Been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being so open as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was just about to say. It's thanks for being so open and very honest with everything. And it's hopefully that will help a lot of other people out there as well.
Yeah, and that's the idea with me being so open about it as well, is because I'm sure that there's other people that are out there going through the same thing that aren't speaking about it.
Yep.
And if the longer that you carry on not speaking about it, the longer you'll carry on feeling the same way. And
the worse it gets as well.
The worse it gets. Go into the rabbit hole further. So
it's
for no other reason. It doesn't benefit me in any way by speaking out. It's just to let people know that you're not. If it is you that's affected, then you're not on your own with it whatsoever.
Yep. And there is the help out there but you've got to ask and
not put yourself out there for it. But that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, asking is
to make the step. Yeah, it's to make the step and do it.
Make that step change to do it, haven't you? It's you know, that is more, it's difficult to say what it is, but it is making that change and making that step. Yeah.
Yeah. Admitting it out loud to yourself is probably the hardest bit.
Yeah.
And then once you're through it, like it's you're on the road to getting in the right direction to where you want to be yourself, you know.
And look at you now and the way it's going over the next few years. It's like, wow, total change, and it's phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, wish you absolutely the best of luck with everything
thank you,
wherever,
guys.
however it pans out. You know, we're always here. Adam's here. I'm here. Everybody's here. If you ever need help with anything, inbox us any questions, anything you need to know. That's what we're here for. Just ask. But you know, absolutely, you know, hats off to you. Heart pours out. Just go for it. You know, excuse the pun, but go for it hell for leather. Like,
yeah, cheers.
So, yeah, go for it and enjoy it, and you know, and that smile, yeah, that says it all for me. So yeah, well done.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. So that's it. Thank you very much, Nathan, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.